what they want to play. And then they're not playing anything that you want to hear, right? So as far as the foundation, right, what is this thing when you say MC, right? Like is that really something, or is it just a term that, you know, these rap guys are using? You know what I mean, right? So MC is derived from Master of Ceremonies, right? So the Master of Ceremonies is the person that moves the crowd. Today, the MC is now the rapper, and then he's up front. Like he's the one that is the headliner, but he's not really the headliner. Actually, the DJ is the headliner, right? Initially, like in these times, when we go back to the early 80s, even if you say late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s, late 80s, 90s, up until maybe about 95, the DJ was what it was about. And then the MC was just there just because, you know, the DJ couldn't talk and do all this stuff. He needed somebody to, you know what I mean, get the crowd involved, you know, say ho and all that type of stuff, right? So when you hear rappers today go on BT Awards and win hip hop MC award, foolishness. So those guys aren't no MCs. They're rappers, and there's a big difference between a rapper and an MC. Even though back then there was MCs that would say that they're rapping, right? Like MCs would say out of their mouth, I'm a rapper, right? But they can say that being an MC. A rapper can't say that he's an MC, right? Because he's contradicting himself, right? Master of Ceremony or mic controller, which comes back to MC again. Master of Ceremony, mic controller. This is the one who controls the crowd at a certain event, leading them and keeping the ceremony organized. An MC's role is to educate, inform, and bring order to the event through verbal instructions. The most important thing, the MC's role is to educate. So the purpose of the MC is to actually give the crowd something to bring them to a higher level with regard to the performance that's taking place, right? It's hard to digest because of like you have Lil Wayne says that he's an MC, and all these people who have nothing to do with MCing are claiming this position, but then when you listen to their stuff, they're not educating anybody. You know what I mean? They're talking bad about women, call this guy nigger. They're saying that, you know, they got this in their trunk and they're gonna do this to you if you come and test them and whatever, when that's not really what MCing is about. The whole idea of the MC is to move the crowd. The whole idea of the MC is to inform, to bring order to what's going on. Bless you, all right? Let's use that side of the table here. So if you go back to the foundation, the masterminds of this thing that we call hip hop music, right? We have to mention Kool Herc, we have to mention Grandmaster Caz, we have to mention Grandmaster Flash, we have to mention Africa Bamba. Like, it's essential that they get mentioned and that their images are shown to young people so that they don't forget what the foundation is. So you might see Caz with a big rope chain on, but he never rhymed about that. That wasn't a topic out of his mouth. Yeah, my chain is worth whatever amount of money, right? Or my shoes are whatever. Or I have a Benz out there, and that wasn't the topic. All they were dealing with was getting information out to the people. And how they were doing that was through music. Specifically hip hop music, right? When you have people like Africa Bambaataa, like in the 80s or whatever, dressing like that. Right? Nobody, I mean, people looked at it as gimmicks, you know, oh, that's just as, you know, his costume, you know what I'm saying? Just put on your costume, but that's real. You know what I mean? He was actually letting the people know that, yo, he's God. And he's coming to you on a certain frequency. You can either get down with it, or you don't have to get down with it. The choice is yours, right? But ultimately, the idea was originality. So I'm not going to do something that the next guy is doing. I'm not going to wear something that the next guy is wearing. Just because he said it in his song, that I'm going to go out and buy that thing, and then I'm going to try to emulate him, right? Like the skinny jeans fad. That's the thing right now. That, you know, that's copycat. Right? That's Biden, as we would call it back then. And nobody didn't like Biden back then. If you're a copycat, like, you know, it's not cool if you're a copycat. You know, you have to go in the corner and wear the dunce cap if you're a copycat back in the day. Right? Because it wasn't tolerated. But that's the theme now. The theme now is copy this guy. This guy's making $1 million, so you copy him, you make $1 million too. But it doesn't really go like that, right? So, again, Cool Herc, Grandmaster Kaz, Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bambaataa.
Kaz, what did Kaz do? You just an MC?
DJ.
DJ, okay.
Right. Now, you have to remember too that during this time, all these guys were doing everything, right? You weren't just a DJ or a dancer back then. Like you were in all of it. One day you might just dance. Next day you might show somebody that, yeah, you know, I know how to deal with the turntables and stuff like that. You know, you might be on the turntables and then you grab the mic and you might spit something while you're actually making the breakbeat at the same time. Just to show that this is a universal thing. This is not something where, you know, you're gonna box yourself in to this element, and that's the only element you're focusing on, because all of them came together, right? Just like earth, air, fire, water came together, and we have earth, we have the planet. All these elements came together to make hip hop, right? And what happened later on is that you have people like KRS-One who was saying that, well, there's actually 5 elements of hip hop, because the knowledge perspective has to be in there, right? And then the ether is the 5th element as far as the earth, air, fire, water, and ether, right? So ether is equivalent to knowledge, right? When you compare it to the hip hop perspective, right? And we were just talking about KRS-One, Boogie Down Productions, and the Juice Crew. So this is around the time when there was sort of a battle between who was the founders of hip hop, right? And during these times, there were some good battles, as far as MC battles, DJ battles, you know, crew battles, right? Different crews coming together because of this idea that, okay, well, this thing's picking up, you know what I mean? It's gaining momentum, and don't get it twisted that we're enemies because of how we talk about each other or to each other. You know what I mean? It was like part of the foundation of hip hop. You know, when you know, like it's saying, KRS-One was rhyming about nuclear war prevention at a time when people were talking about cars and jewelry and stuff like that, right? When his DJ Scott LaRock died, that's when got murdered, that's when he totally got off of just being a MC to actually putting knowledge now to lyrics and taken that up to a whole different level that a lot of people aren't even on today. You know, that they would have this as an album cover, and he's actually emulated Malcolm X at the window with the gun, right? At that time, when enough people don't even know who Malcolm X is, as far as young people, like we just look at this picture as, oh, this guy has a Uzi, you know what I mean? He's heavy, you know, I wonder who he's looking at out the window, right? And then later on, as you start, you know, you might hear something in a song and then you go research it, you know what I mean? And then you find and you bump into this picture with Malcolm X doing the same thing that he's doing, right? Coming back to the thing with the jewelry and all that they never talk about that stuff, right? Like, but you know, like you have like Biz Markie, Cool G Rap, Slick Rick, and all these people who had jewelry, and they never talked about it once or anymore. It wasn't a topic that they talked about, like how you hear brothers talk about it today. That they have a chain and they have to put their chain in their song. Like it's like they can't not do it. You know what I mean? You can put 20 G's on the table. You'll do an album, don't talk about your chain, and they can't do it. Because they're caught up in that whole visualization of, you know, the material aspect of things. They're not dealing with the ether or the knowledge. They're dealing with strictly the material aspect of things, right? And if you're going into hip hop to say you want to be a DJ or a dancer, or you have to do it because you want to do it. You can't do it because, you know, this is just, it seems like a good idea to be a rapper. You know, it's like ballers. You know what I mean? There's no people playing ball and they don't even digest that well. You know, only the youth man this year and Jamal McGlure is the only people in this city that ever made it far enough to say that they made it. 2 people in like 20 years made it, right? You think about record deals. Most people really got record deals from here. Like I'm saying, like a real record deal, not like a sideway record deal like Cardinal got, right? He signed on to Akon. Akon ain't nobody. You guys are rapists, going to Trinidad whining on little girls and stuff, right? That's who he signed on to. And then the big label would sign Akon, right? So he's just attached to a label. He's not really signed by the label, right? When you look at, like we were showing the earlier picture with Drake, you know, only because his mom's a Jew and because he was on Degrassi is why he's who he is. He's not no MC or no good artist per se. You know, he can put some words together, stuff sounds good, but last maybe 5 songs I heard from Drake all sound the same.
It's true.
It has that same sound to it. It has that sound. There's this sound that he has that they're using to market him. There's a particular sound that his music has. When you hear him rhyming, it has a certain sound to it. And that sound is in every single song that he does.
I think when he first originally was coming up, though, he was more interested.
When he first came out, yes, when he first came out. But that's what happens, right? That's what happens. It always happens to the ones that are soft. They come out like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be repping T.O. or whatever as, yeah, and he could have did it, but he fell for the okie doke, he took the check, you know? And now he's coming out of the cockpit window, right? It's like the same first picture that we showed. Right? He's coming out the cockpit window with a man's cock in his pit coming out the window. Like, you tell me that these guys couldn't have been waving out the door?
Why didn't you take it?
Yeah, I was wondering. I was thinking you're like, why he's like cut off.
Yeah, like he's half cut off because he's sticking his head out the cockpit window. And then a man is behind him, like pretty much like on him. Right? And he's smiling and, you know, the same thing with the applause and everybody clap. right? Saying that it's cool. It's cool to be down. It's cool to get your face on a plane.